Good morning, good morning, good morning, B. How's it going?
Good morning. It's going great. How are you? You see where I'm at, right?
You are at it again, at it
At it,
again.
at it again. How are you, Mama?
So, hey, you just have to do what you have to do sometimes, right?
That's right. I didn't want to wake anybody up, so I'm back in the truck.
Yeah. So, because we know that will happen, I've had to do that. Not this case, but I've had to before. So, happy Mother's Day to all of our sweet mamas out there. How about it?
Happy Mother's Day, everybody. Happy Mother's Day to you, Mama.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So, 100. Let's see what we got going. We got some people have popped in already. Miss Brenda, good morning and happy, happy, happy Mother's Day to you. What do you
Happy
and the
Mother's Day, Miss
40?
Brenda.
Yeah, what do you and the 47-year-old man have up for today? Y'all getting out? What you doing? Thank you, KL. Thank you for the birthday, Lord, for the happy Mother's Day wish I received. So thank you guys. Thank you.
Y'all,
Brandon, anything from yesterday?
from yesterday.
Yeah,
Um,
got any takeaways?
uh, I won't say really. Yes, yesterday was just such a good day. It was. I spent a lot of time outside yesterday. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I sparred. I had a bunch of fights. Um, we had
Did
some fights.
everybody do okay for the
We
most
did.
part?
Everybody won their fight last night, so
Okay.
nobody got
Okay.
hurt. It was a good show, so I was very happy.
On either side, nobody got hurt.
Right, right. Nobody got hurt.
Cool.
All right.
All right. Cool beans. All
How
right.
about you,
Well,
Mama? How was your Mother's Day? Or not Mother's Day, but how was your yesterday?
it was good. I got to hang out with my mom yesterday. We got out and we had several stops planned, but we only got to one of them. And we stayed there the entire time. The farmers market, you guys, if you are looking for a place to go hang out, do a little shopping, we had a great time, met some great people. I actually I went live with some folks that just that we really connected with. So I had a great time, So we were there from like 10:30 to 1:30. That's a long time. That's a long time for the farmers market.
Oh wow.
Um, got an opportunity for where my mom and their dance team is going to hopefully dance once a month there
At the
as
farmers market?
entertainment. Uh-huh. As
Oh wow.
entertainment. They are having a talent show. So if you guys want to know more about that, stay tuned. I'm actually going to set up an interview with the guy who puts all that together. And if
Mm.
you have something that you want to market, hopefully I'm going to put this on out there in the air. My pasta salad. If you've not had my pasta salad,
Mm.
talked to the guy yesterday, and he said I will find you a space. Just make it happen. So, and I will probably put my mom and I don't know whoever else out there to do it for me. I'll just make it and we'll sell it. Got to work on some license, getting my license together for that. You have to go through the proper channels, especially when you're dealing with food. So I'm going to try to make that happen sooner than later. So yesterday was a good day. I got to see my brother. He came over and hung out with us for a bit. Got to see my
Oh yeah.
grandbabies, surprised them. Walked into the restaurant and surprised them. Tupac, Grandma, you were here?
Are you here?
Yeah. Yeah, like you really here? And he said, I
Wow.
want to go to your house. And I said, no, hang out with grandma, with other grandma. Just want to go for a little bit. That's what he said. I just want to go for a little bit. So yesterday was a beautiful, beautiful day. It felt good to be out because normally I would just sit here in this house, clean up, do a little dabbing here and there, but it felt good to be out, mingle with people, and just kind of do life. So it was a great day, a great day. And matter of fact, someone said, oh, you and your son do a podcast every morning. Yeah, so that was
Really?
that was interesting because I didn't. Yeah, you meet people and you're like, oh yeah, I know you and your son do a podcast
Oh
kind
wow.
of thing. So yeah,
How
yeah.
did they were they someone we knew personally?
Well, someone we know, but like I haven't seen a post. It's actually the lady who does the juice, but I hadn't seen them in a while. I saw her husband a couple of weeks ago. Um,
Oh, okay.
got some more of
Okay.
that amazing juice, but yeah, just kind of reconnecting because I don't think I have only met her once, and it's been very, very long time. Um, yeah, so it's just it was just pleasing to the heart to know that somebody,
Remember.
like I guess she's watched or she at least remembers that we do it. Okay.
Oh, cool. I'm glad you had a good day, mother, and I hope that today is a good day for you too. Um, Happy Mother's Day to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Happy Mother's Day. We'll talk a little bit offline about today, and I know you gotta go out of town and all that stuff, but we'll work something out.
Yeah. Yeah, we
So
already have. We're good like that,
yeah,
Brandon. I
yeah,
don't require a lot. I don't.
she really doesn't, y'all. I be trying to get her something. She's like, nope, nope. So, and it is it's half of a feat just getting her to celebrate anything. um, Going out to dinner, anything like that, doing anything for her. She I ain't gonna say she make it hard, but she don't make it easy.
I
But
don't know.
thank you for being just being a gracious person anyway, Mom. I appreciate you.
Oh, I
So
thank you.
today is what, our 102nd day.
That's right.
102nd day of in this season podcast, going through the book Daily Motivations for African American Success by Dennis Kimbro. If you haven't gotten the book, go ahead and get the book, guys. I don't know what you're waiting for. There's no reason for you to be here every day and have not gotten the book. So if you are one of our day ones, make sure that you get the book. Make sure that you're actually participating in the way that you should, that you're getting the most value out of this podcast and out of this series with my mother and I. So if you're not familiar with the book and this is your first time at the cookout, Daily Motivations for African American Success will help you focus on the thoughts, attitudes, and deeds that will lead to the achievement of your true goals. And 365 short, powerful motivations, one for each day of the year. Dennis Kimbro, the author of the popular Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice, leads us to discover how to use the present moment and our own gifts to transcend labels, cultivate a positive attitude, become wise enough to know when to say yes and when to say no, and to look inward for answers to life's challenges. Each motivation begins with words of wisdom from such distinguished and celebrated African Americans as Malcolm X, Marion Wright Elderman, Whoopi Goldberg, Charlene Hunter Galt, Bill Cosby, Carl Rowan, Mother Hale, Reverend Leon Sullivan, and hundreds of others. This treasure trove of practical inspiration will give you fresh encouragement every day of the year. What it teaches will last you a lifetime. A lifetime. And if you guys remember on the 100th day, we took some questions from the back of this book, asked if you guys could fill in the blanks. And one of those questions was, become wise enough to know when to say blank and when to say blank. So I appreciate, Mom, for you having that detail and going back. But y'all really pay attention to, when we read the back of the book and when we read those quotes or those affirmations, because with my mother being so generous as she is, she don't receive it, but boy, she'll give it. um she gives away things from time to time, and gives you guys rewards for participating and for being there with us. So big shout out to you, Mom, and shout out to the people that have been here from day one and the people that they've invited, because I know they have. So want to jump right into it, Mom? You're on mute.
I do. I didn't want y'all to hear me typing. I do, but I'm gonna do you like Miss Brenda did you the other day. We're gonna need you to turn around or something, face the sun, because it look like you in a Miss. Did y'all were y'all on when Miss Brenda checked Brandon about the Miss Brenda? What did you say? What did she say, Brandon?
I don't
Brandon
know.
is
You tell me.
island ready.
Oh,
She
Island
said
Ready. That was it.
Brandon is island ready. Man, I won't forget that. Might have to put that one on a shirt.
Yeah, I'm
Island ready.
Island Ready.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can make it happen. It's a big truck, but it ain't.
Okay, I tell you what, I'm gonna take you out while you do
I
your
got
thing.
okay, cool.
So, okay, you guys, I'm going to. I want to. This is thank you, KL. This is when I saw your comment there. Um, about really missing your mom. There are things like that happen, and people really deal with it internally. And so when I saw your post, I want to make sure it reminded me to make sure that I am mindful of people who no longer have their mom front and center, right? And every time I lose someone, um, as of late, let me say that. Well, let me just say this: love the people now. Love the people that you love so much better. Love the people that you love now, right? See the good in them as best you can. Love them without expectations, right? Um, because even if you do or you don't, when they're gone, you will miss parts of them that you did not recognize while they were here, or honor while they were here.
Mm.
So thank you for sharing that, KL. And I know that how close you and your mom were, and how much you miss her, how much you miss her. So, um, there's not much you can really say to people in that sense. You just have to be there for them and just let them know that you understand how they feel and what they're going through to the best of your ability. Because until you lose um, someone like that, I even now with my grandmother was the latest person for me. And I find myself, matter of fact, day before yesterday, I found myself just wishing I could hear her voice again. Does that make sense? Like I felt, and it could have been that Mother's Day was approaching. So, like just if I could just hear her voice again, because the last time I saw my grandmother, I left her presence thinking, oh, my grandmama's fine. She's good. She's got this. Like I got a picture of her. I think I shared that with you guys looking through, finding that number for me. I shared it with someone. Um, and I just thought, she's good. She's got a good, really, y'all. I was thinking a good 10 more years on her at 90 something, because she was so fit and strong mentally, certainly spiritually. And she was happy. She just seemed very content and happy with life, very peaceful. And I actually told Jeannie, I said, my grandmother is fine. She's, we were just visiting. That was the time she told me about the watermelons. I had bought 2 watermelons for her, and she asked me how much they cost, right? Like as if she had to pay for them, right? And then she said they sure would, and she loves watermelon. She said they sure would have kept them 2 for 10. Big watermelon, not the little ones. She said I wouldn't have paid that for them. So
Mm.
very, very talkative, very strong, always feisty, ready to just tell you like it is. Matter of fact, she told me that day, she said, and here I am thinking I'm fine, right? She said, you look good, but don't gain no more weight. And I thought I was, fine and fit. She said, you look good now, but don't gain any more weight. And I didn't think I was overweight. But that's just how she was. She thought it, she said it. Didn't mean no harm by it. To her, the truth should set you free, and this is what the truth is. But I still love you. Go get you a plate, baby. And don't buy no more watermelons 2 for 10.
See, great grandma can say that. If I say to something, boy, I'm getting in the doghouse.
She told me don't gain no more weight, Brandon.
I know what I'm saying. I can say anything. Gain weight, lose weight, anything.
Well,
Now she,
grandma, like you said, grandmas can say anything, whatever.
uh, she was so
So,
sweet. She really was.
yeah.
She really
But
was.
feisty, y'all. Feisty. I'm telling y'all. I'm telling you, that woman, I remember her in the grocery store. One of my moments where I'm thinking, oh, Lord, woman. She told this lady in the grocery store that what her son needed was an ass whooping. The boy was cutting up so bad in the store, and my grandma, I guess she had held it for as long as she could. And that was many years ago. But she just finally said it. What tell you what he need. And back then you could say stuff like that, but Now, if you said that in the store of somebody's child, even if they really needed it, you had to fight them, right?
Yep.
You'd have to fight them. But I was like, I'm sick of this. This boy needs to straighten up, you know. So
Yep.
just love the people. Love people now. Love people now. Okay. So thank you, KL, and peace to you today. Remember the good times. Remember the good times. So, all right, let's rock and roll with it,
Ready to
Brandon.
rock and roll? All right. Well, on this May the 12th, the title is Tools of the Trade.
Tools of
Tools
the trade.
of the Trade. And the quote from the distinguished African American comes from the educator, none other than Booker T. Washington. And Booker T. Washington said, "Start where you are with what you have. Knowing what you have is plenty enough." Start where you are with what you have, knowing that what you have is plenty enough. And the passage goes, Whitney Young, founder of the National Urban League, gave a group of civic leaders a clue as to why equal opportunity is so important. "If you give us the tools," he said, "we will finish the job." Young's words are worth remembering. How many times have you labored at an unsuccessful activity only to find out that having a particular tool could have saved you a great deal of time, energy, and frustration? This is because we think of tools as tangible instruments. However, to make the most of success, we must use the word tool in a much broader sense. We've heard the expression climbing the ladder of success so often that its significance is lost in its simplicity. A ladder is nothing but a tool, just an instrument to help facilitate work. Likewise, a job is a tool to be used in arriving at our goals in life. A ladder is designed for vertical but not horizontal use. It is to be used for an upward climb. Also, a ladder cannot be climbed except by using one rung at a time, just as people do not stumble into success but rather grow into it. A ladder offers only a progressive means of movement. We use each rung as a foundation to reach higher heights, to reach greater heights. If we try to skip a rung, disaster is imminent. Perhaps the most important similarity between one's vocation and a ladder is that it requires effort to climb in either case. Not all are willing to make the sacrifice to reach the top of the ladder, but those who climb high enough will escape the congestion at the bottom. And the affirmation that we read 3 times, one for me, one for you, and one for the person that you're going to invite tomorrow, is dreams are the tools of the successful. I will dream big dreams. Second time, dreams are the tools of the successful. I will dream big dreams. And last time, dreams are the tools of the successful. I will dream big dreams. What you got for me? What you think, Mom?
Wow. This reminds me of so it says what you have is plenty enough. And remember when we talked about if you keep going, right? No matter where
Mm-hmm.
you are, if you keep going, you will get there, right? So imagine this letter and with what you have without regretting what you don't have or where you've not, the destination that you've not reached yet. So let's put the ladder in perspective. If you get the ladder, right? If you get the ladder, put it in its place, and if you start climbing, you will get to the top of that ladder, no matter how tall it is, right? So no matter how big your dream is, if you do one step at a time, and sometimes, I'll get on a ladder and I'll skip. I'll take two, 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 right? That's extra work. That's extra miles for you, right? For you to get there. But if you keep climbing, you will get there. If you stop at the place you've reached, say you get to the middle, but you stop, guess what? You won't get there. You don't get there. And guess what? You have to do some work to get back down. To get back
Yeah.
down to where you started, you got to now go down or fall down. No matter which one you do, it's all up to you if what you have is plenty enough. Because if you look at what you have, thinking with this, with my situation, with my circumstance, with my environment, with how I was raised, with the school I went to, right? I didn't graduate. I don't have a degree, so I can't get this job. You know, if you think of your tools in that way, then they're not going to be enough. And that is not, as of yesterday's passage, or maybe quote, yesterday was Great Expectations. And it says, open your mind. It says our, but I'm going to say, open your minds to positive thought and habit. Let's put that in perspective with today. Open those thoughts and that faith and know that you have plenty. What you have is plenty to start with. It's your perspective of it. It's how you look at it. It's the size ladder you think you have, right? It's the size of the ladder that you go purchase. If you got a big job, a big building, would you go purchase a step ladder? Mm-mm. So you can't have a big dream and have step ladder thoughts, right? Because that's not enough. That's not enough. So I like this one, Brandon. I really, really do. Gosh, facilitate work to help us facilitate work, right? It talks about a ladder is nothing but a tool, just an instrument to help facilitate work. So, what tools do you need to facilitate the work of your goal or your dream? What tools do you need? Do you need to read more? Do you need to stop sleeping so much? Do you need to stop the stinking thinking?
Stinking thing.
Do you need to stop the woe it's me attitude? Do you need to stop blaming people? What's your ladder? How many ladders do you have? How tall are they? Will they accommodate the job that you have in mind? The dream. So, and the affirmation: dreams are the tools of the successful. We talked about dreams. Are you dreaming only while you're asleep, or do you wake up with those dreams and those goals and the mindset of the tools that you need um, to be successful? The tools of the trade. You know, what tools are you trading as it relates to your success, your dreams? Have you purchased the wrong tools? So that's just a little bit of what I have, Brandon.
Thank you. Thank you, Mama.
Made
I
me think
appreciate it.
about you one time with the. I thought you were going to look at. I looked up to see if you were
I saw
laughing because
you.
remember when you got the what is it called?
Which
The
one?
that big thing that
Oh, the
digs up
auger.
auger. Yep, auger.
Yeah.
I'd
I was.
never
I was.
heard of auger until Brandon was like, I need an auger. We
I
might
was
need
gonna
an
say.
auger to dig up some stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I
Yeah.
was to dig up some stuff. I was. I was thinking about that when I was reading it. So when I first started doing contract work, building fences, I would do it subcontracting um, with other businesses, or when somebody had a job, I would go help them out or something like that. But what I noticed when I started doing the subcontracting work, meaning a contractor would get the job, then they would take their portion, provide materials that probably usually at a discounted rate because they get them wholesale, and then I would go do the job, and then I'll take my portion and they take something off the top. And I noticed that the hardest part was digging the post holes, right? Digging the holes for all the posts for the fences. And once that was done, everything else was good. The framing was easy. Um, another laborious part is the cement, but that's all involved in the post digging. So I was like, if I could just get those, if I could just get those posts dug faster, I can move on to the next job, and that's more money and more money. And so, but I didn't have it, and I didn't go buy it. I didn't want to go buy it until I had done it myself with my, with my kind of my I forget what you call it. It's like a spade. It's like a spade, a long spade that digs into the earth, right? And I did that for a while. I mean, digging 2-3 feet in the ground, at multiple locations. Let's say for 100 foot, 100 foot fence, you got to divide that by 8, and that's how many times you're gonna dig a post, right? So I was like, man, I got to get an auger. But like the quote said, start where you are with what you have, and know that what you have is plenty enough, right? Start where you are with what you have, knowing that what you have is plenty. Yeah. So I had what I needed to get the job done. Um, I could have just been like, nope, I can't do this because I don't have this tool. But most of the people that I saw doing, fence work didn't have that tool either, much less the electric one. I saw people that had, these big gasoline ones that they had to lug around and plug up or put the gas in, and all this other stuff. Took 2 people to hold and all that. And I was like, man, there's got to be a more efficient one. And I found one that took a battery pack, the Ryobi, to where all I got to do is take the battery pack off my drill, put it onto my auger, and I use that same thing. I take the battery pack off of my auger, put it onto my saw, and I can cut my wood, right? So the tools made it easier, but I was able to do the job. Like the first fence I actually did was my neighbor's fence. You remember that?
Yeah.
And that was some labor. But now, like, actually, she didn't want to get the other side of her fence done because there's a lot of costs associated with fences. So she said she would do it later. Well, her gate started to fall down, and she contacted me and was like, can you do my other side too? And that side plus the gate, I did that in a couple hours. And she was like, after I got done, she was like, "You done already?" And I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "Well, you did get faster," because I told her, I was like, it shouldn't take too long. I gave her a good deal, and and uh and she was like, "Yeah, you did get faster," and that really made me feel some kind of way, in a good way, because she was my first client, and then after I had gotten more efficient, came back and she noticed the difference, so I could tell uh, that I had grown. But either way, I had everything that I needed to get the job done already. But I like that the quote says, "Start where you are with what you have." It doesn't say finish where you are with what you start, right? So you can pick up tools along the way, but just start where you are with what you have. I can't tell you how many times, Mama, you know me, I have left something that I needed for a job back at the garage, right? Or in the other car or something. Something I had, and I was like, man, I need this for this job. And I have to make a decision. Am I going to drive all the way back, or am I going to do with what I have? And I always have this, it's going to sound kind of crazy, but I have this like thought process where when I go to a job or something, I say, God isn't going to send me out here and not give me the tools and what I need to get this job done. So I'm gonna find it, and I kid you not. If I just sit down for a minute and I look around, I find something, either in that person's yard, or put two and two things together, or just make it work. What we used to call it, nigger rigging, or what would you call it? Is that what we call it? Ain't that what we call it? Cause I sure rigged it up, boy.
Oh my God! No, you didn't.
I did it. That's the
But
truth.
y'all
Y'all,
know that came from a lack. We didn't have. And Brandon, if I may, because I don't want to forget this. You said you had, so you did what you needed to do with the tools that you had, right? So
Mm,
imagine that's saying that he didn't have, because someone else may go do a fencing job and they have every tool that is needed for fencing. Some that they may not even need, right? And also, if Brandon was cutting down trees, would he? What tools would he need?
mm,
Specific. So the tools are specific to your dream, your goal, your what success means to you. Because it maybe you don't want to do the 10-foot trees. Maybe you just want to be, some little doghouse fences, right? You just want little things. So what would you need, right?
right.
So it was interesting when you were talking, you had what you needed for the job that you were doing. And in some cases, although someone else is doing fences, they may have some things that you don't, and vice versa. But guess
Right.
what? The fence still goes up,
Exactly.
right? And plenty of
Exactly.
people would have said, you know what? I'm not going to sit here and dig this with this little thing, and I can't afford a what you call it, a
Auger.
digger. So I'm
Hmm.
just gonna go home and I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just gonna sit here and I'm a woe it's me. And then I'm gonna complain that man, I tried to do fencing, but I couldn't do it because I need an auger, while somebody else will do it with a pair of scissors
Man,
and take
what?
30 days.
I know I will.
So do y'all see what we're saying? The perspective, your view of it, right? The work, the dream that you have. Are you gonna wake up and remember it and then go get the tools? Because guess what? If you can't go buy it, maybe somebody will let you borrow one for the day.
And can
Go
I?
rent one for the day. Yeah, sure. Come on.
I want to mention something too. One thing that I did here, I noticed that in the business of building things, construction, roofing, fencing, landscaping, framing houses and building houses, I noticed that a very small amount. There was a very small amount of like I saw the dynamics. There was a very small amount of white doing the actual. There was a small, not as small as the white colleagues doing the work, but for black people, there's a couple more people, right, that were doing the work. But I saw a ton of Mexicans, Guatemalans, Honduran people, Hondureños, and they do the work so fast.
Hmm.
They do the
Yep.
work and will not have the tools. I'm telling you, will not have the tools. But they'll do the work so fast, so where the next time you see them, they will have that tool. And so that's what I learned from. I learned from, when I did a fence. Um, there was three Mexican guys across the street doing, a lot of work. And so while I'm building the fence, they were doing the roof and building a whole new part on the house. And so I would look at them for the days that I would come to complete the fence. I think that fence took me maybe 3 days. And I would come and I was amazed at how much these three, fairly small men were doing. And I told Aaron, the guy who was the contractor, and I was like, man, these folks out here working super fast, And this is one of my first or second jobs with him. And
And
he said,
together. And together. Please add that. And
and
together.
and together, yeah,
Together.
very.
Yeah, together.
And I want to get to that too. Like I'll get to that too. About
Please.
the remind me
Okay.
to say something about that.
Okay.
I told him, and he said, yeah. He said that's why I'm a carpenter no more. They pushed me out of it. They pushed me out of a job because I couldn't do it as fast and I couldn't do it for the price. So they're doing faster work, sometimes with the same quality, and they're charging less because they need less. Why do they need less? Because in many times they're helping one another,
Yes.
right? What's enough for one is enough for two. What's enough for two is enough for four. What's enough for four is enough for eight. So imagine you got four, four, you know, immigrant guys that come from a place where they couldn't go to a Home Depot down the street and get everything that they needed. They had to make do with what they had, right? And look how industrial that made these people, right? They didn't wake up industrial. It was the lifestyle that they lived. It was the culture that they attached to working, and the competitive nature that they had with themselves and with their peers to do good with what they had. And it's called machismo, right? Like that's where we get macho man, right? And machismo meant like you're a man's man, right? Like you're especially like if y'all are doing work, they actually compete together on who can do their particular job the fastest, and then they one person will bring the lunch for everybody for the day. Somebody's gonna bring tamales or burritos, and when they bring it during lunchtime, they have it for everybody. Sometimes somebody would leave while everyone is still working. So whereas with us, we'll be like, it's time for my hour lunch break, and we go for an hour. You know, I remember doing roofing and seeing some guys. This is years back, and here I am going to Chick-fil-A for an hour to get something to eat, and they sent one to go get food. They continued to work and came back, and then a portion of them ate while the other one. And then after that portion done, they switched, and the other portion ate while the other ones worked, so that the work never stopped, and everybody was fed. And then I'm not even on their team. I'm working on another part of the contract, and they're like, "Hey, amigo, necesito comida," which means or necesitas comida. Do you need to eat? And I'm like, I ain't gonna turn it down. What y'all got? And they had extra for me. So that was that was eye opening for me to see that people were so industrious uh, with very little. They carpooled there. Whereas if I would work with other people, I would see that everybody took their own cars, and I'm like, oh, y'all must all live together. And he's like, no, his family lives over here. His family lives over here. But their house was on the way, so we picked them up. Like just thinking in that way, in that collective way, gave them so much more efficiency, and it made it less stressful for them individually, if that makes sense, right? So they started where they were with what they had, and guess what they had? Guess what their biggest tool was? Each other.
Wow, Brandon, say that again.
Their biggest tool was one another, each other, right?
Hmm.
Because if you see just the way that they work, there was assembly lines. The first thing that they would do, I would see them get all their tools that they would use and keep it in the same spot. All their materials, they keep it in another spot, but they would be very organized to where they had little pathways to where no one would step over each other or over each other's tools or over the materials. And when they left, it was a clean spot. They didn't leave it. If they had to come back the next day, didn't leave it a mess, right? And so the biggest tool to me, from what I saw, was each other. The way that they did the work and made it efficient for one another. So that's what I have. Dreams are the tools of the successful, and I will dream big dreams. But can you imagine dreaming a big dream coming from an entirely different country, and not having economic opportunities there, and having to go through the myriad of obstacles and hoops in order to get citizenship as a person from the global South? It's much easier if you're Canadian to get citizenship, and I think
Hmm.
that's for obvious reasons than it is if you're Mexican, Honduran, or
Right.
or anything, or Haitian. For example, like they had people on horses and whips and stuff. When the Haitians were trying to come over the border, it looked very reminiscent of the old South. But there are border walls in Canada, so there's an obvious difference. But imagine having that big obstacle to be so big, and to overcome it, and having the dream of some type of economic uh, um, opportunity, and then you get here, right? You get here. What are you gonna do? You're gonna be very grateful for all that you do. You're gonna be very industrious. You're gonna be very hardworking. You're going to be very collective. You're going to have a mission. And I think what many of us are missing, specifically the men, specifically the fathers, and what we give to our little boys, because this is what I do with Tupac: give boys a mission, give them a task. I don't care what it is. I go to the backyard. I got a bucket of water. My little boy is over there just like trying to put his finger in, doing all this stuff. And instead of me saying, no, go sit down and just watch me do it, I got this bucket of water now. I was going to go put it over to the side, you know. I say, okay, here, Tupac, here's a little cup. What I want you to do is take these cups, put it inside the big bucket of water, and go water this tree. Go water this tree, and then go water this tree until all the water in the bucket is gone. And it's a 5 bucket, and he got this little cup. Do you know? Him and my daughter did it for 2 of our trees in the back until me and my wife were done doing our gardening and stuff in the backyard. They sat there and did the water, and we did not have to worry about them. And Tupac was leading the mission because he
And
had a
Brandon,
mission.
can I say this? You got y'all, Brandon and Sulla are doing such an amazing job with the grandbabies, and this is a
Mm-hmm.
time to say that and like my mom and I was out yesterday, and we were talking about them. Tupac is always wanting to do something. What
Mm-hmm.
can I do, Grandma? What can I do? What can I do? What can I do? Right? And it's so interesting to hear a young man like Tupac literally hid his money saying he was saving it. I don't know if I shared that story with you guys because we thought he had lost it, but he had hid it, right? And because we thought he had lost some of the money, we was telling him to give it to his mom and dad. And he started, he gave this money, and I said, well, you should give it all that you have. He had kept $1 and hid the other, right? So, and that was I'm sorry, it was two. It was $2 that he had hid. So we thought he had lost it, and we've been looking for it all outside in the car. Um, and then he goes, I said, well, you should give it all. And he says, well, I was saving it, but I'll give it to my mama. And he had hid it. He had put it under a table, under a book, saving it for later. His child at
3
three
years
years
old.
old, you guys. And then I remember when we were at the farm in Millington,
Mm.
and this is how he talks. He talks with this strong like voice. He's like, Grandma, I don't want to see no horses. I want to mow the lawn. Did I tell you about that?
No.
He
When
did,
was
y'all.
this?
This chat. Yeah, he was like, Grandma, I don't. And that's like, I don't want to see no horses because it was his big tractor, like mower, and I want to mow the lawn. It's like I don't want to see these horses, and he's 3. He's 3, you guys. But so imagine the second generation of this child, right? Because I'm gonna tell you guys, I see so many Caucasian men, especially when I'm out in the field, right? I think I remember sharing the story about this young little boy, 10 years old, who was out with his grandfather, Caucasian. This young boy stood up and talked to me about the woes of my Tahoe at the time. Like his grandfather had gone on. He was sitting there asking me these questions. Had I did this? Had I checked this? And his dad followed the footsteps of his dad. So they were construction workers. But not only
Mm.
that, when they were working on cars, guess who was right there by them? That little boy from
Mm-hmm.
from from Yay High. Because I asked him all these questions because I'm just like, I'm impressed. So I see so many Caucasian men walking around with their grandsons, coming into the supply store, getting some supplies getting the tools to go do the job, to go do the job. So
Mm-hmm.
what are they doing? They are building a legacy. They are building something to give to that child because it was given to his dad. And so they go build houses together. The dad, the dad, and the son.
Mm.
Y'all see what I'm saying? So, and I
Mm-hmm.
remember Dedrick Golden. I remember
Oh
Dedrick
yeah.
Golden, African American guy, used to live here in Memphis.
He went
We
from
probably
playing.
ran him a ray. He ran for mayor. And I remember he spoke at an event that I did for the babies and for the young people. And he said, if I come across a man, if he's wanting to go out and play, like go hang out, and they have sons, now man, go get your son. Let's all go.
Yeah.
That's what that was his thing. And I was so impressed by that. No, go get your son. I grab mine, grab some boys, we'll go hoop. Cause guess what you could do while you're hooping? You are building these young men. You can talk to them while you're playing ball. You can grab them while you are working on your car and say, this is how you change oil. This is how you change, check a tire, the air. This, we have young men who were in college and did not know how to tie a tie. And it may seem minor, but guess what? You might have a job interview where you need that tie. And don't talk to
I'm
me
trying
about
to think. When did I learn tie tie?
I'm talking about you. So, but I did. Let me tell you something. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I did not get anybody to show them how to do the tie, tie the tie. But there were things that even to this day, Brandon don't know. Um,
Putting men in my life, like sending men up there, sending certain
I
guys
hired
up there.
some men
Yeah.
because y'all, I got to a point. I knew that I didn't have the tools. I did not. As best I tried to be and do, I was not and am not a man. I did not have the tools of a man. And I came to a point where I saw there's some things I cannot do. And I remember one of the greatest things a man shared with me, and it was, oh gosh, I wish I could. It was a pastor. I cannot remember his name right now, but he said to me, because Brandon has men have tools. We have different tools, right? So even as a young man, I'm mama, but Brandon sees himself as a man, and I'm your protector. I'm here to protect you because there's no man here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it came to a point where I felt like Brandon thought he was my dad, right? And even so, at a certain point, even my dad doesn't have, can't, like Tupac say, can't tell me what to do. Another story about Tupac, y'all. But there are
Me trying to
tools
tell
that,
somebody what to do? Me? No.
no, I mean, your
I'm just
baby,
messing.
Tupac,
I'm just messing.
but yeah, you too with me. Like he had this thing where he was my protector. And so I remember this pastor saying, don't take that away from him. That's manhood to protect for sure, not just a woman, but his mom. Right.
Mm.
And so there's so
What
many
pastor said
tools.
that? I need to thank them.
He's the, oh gosh, I'll think of it. I'll think of it because they're on Facebook. It was New Life Church. Why can't I think of this man's name? But it's been a long time. But he said, you have to let men be because you're pulling away from their manhood. So we're confusing them. Like God has given me this. I'm this man of valor and strength. And you're my mom. You're delicate. You're the woman who birthed me. I'm going to protect you by all means. Like Brandon was crazy with it, y'all. Seriously. And but on this side of it, yeah, remember I tricked you one time. I was trying to buy you some tires. Well, Red and I was trying to buy you some tires, and the man was in on it too, at the
He's about to be in a
Firestone.
morgue.
He was in on the joke, but I had to stop it because Brandon was getting ready to fight the man. Like seriously, he was boiling. He was standing up there, and so I just said, you know what? Let me stop this before it goes wrong. We're gonna be on TV, but it was that kind of thing, right? But everybody was in on the joke, but
You,
Brandon
you
and
you
Brandon
made
was,
it seem like he was talking crazy. Then you called
yeah,
me
yeah,
from like I know if you call me from the Firestone place
yeah.
saying they acting crazy, I think you need to come up here, man. I'm coming with something in the car, and I just need to know if I need to go back to the car or if
Yeah,
I
y'all,
need
we
to
should
get.
have filmed it because it was crazy. But Brandon has the tools of a man.
Mm.
And all men have it. I really think we all have it, but perhaps somewhere along the way, someone took those tools away from them or told them you got to put those down.
Or
Like
called them
with Tupac.
toxic. Said that. Oh no, that's toxic masculinity.
Yeah,
You're trying to
yeah,
protect me, a woman.
right.
No. Like,
right, right. Because Tupac already has that manhood voice, and he just has it, y'all. Like, I don't want to see no horses, but he didn't say it like that. I don't want to see no horses. I want to mow the lawn.
and when when I go to,
And got mad because he couldn't. I mean, he
yeah,
seriously got mad, right? And didn't want another thing. He didn't want kids. This is my grandma. He didn't want the little kids would try to come up and talk to me or what. He'd be like, "No, this is my grandma." Like I said, Tupac, come on,
that's my
like
boy.
and I'm gonna get off Tupac, but y'all, that's my boy. We're in Walmart. Tupac told a little young boy, "Don't be looking at me like that."
Yeah, you
Like
will.
the mother got a little upset, it's like he's just a child. I'm like, okay, he is too. Where we gonna take this? So don't address the child, just address the grandma. But Tupac really did, and so I asked him on the way out. I'm like, Tupac, why'd you say that? Well, grandma, he was just staring at me. So y'all see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A boy, a man, because Kasali, like, she would probably say, "Hey," to somebody that was
Mhm.
staring at her. Tupac, don't be staring at me.
Tupac, like, what you looking at me for? You threatened? You got something going?
Yeah,
But imagine men out, right? And you see a man just staring at you. You're like, hey man, what's up?
yeah, yeah.
You
But
you
Tupac
ain't gonna
asked the
you you're not gonna avoid eye contact and be no. That's weird. That's almost subservient in a way,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
kind of, I don't know, not masculine. So I mean, all that to say though is, but I will say this: I hold Tupac to a different standard than I hold my daughter.
And maybe we
I
need to
do.
get back to that.
We should.
The
We
world
absolutely
needs
should.
to get back to that.
I'll say this, like,
Because
my
y'all
from
got women thinking, we got women thinking they should be out there digging. It reminds me of a friend of mine back in the day who just in military, right? And she just, gung ho about going to war, get over there and just have a complete meltdown. I'm on
to
my
my me.
cycle and I'm just gonna say it like it. Yes, I mean they had to send the girl home, right?
Yep,
You
she
out there
in the
trying to
desert.
fight
She
and
did. She didn't want
losing.
to use the restroom in the desert,
Yeah,
in the
while
hole.
she's on that monthly. What did you expect? They were gonna build you a bed with a room for when you on your cycle? If you want to go fight with the boys, you got to be a boy.
I'll be the
You
first to
got to
tell
be a
you,
boy, and you ain't a boy, a
I do
man.
not. I do not respect militaries that let. I do not respect nations that let women fight in war with them. I do not believe that women should be involved in war.
Imagine the
Unless,
mental, our emotional state.
I
So
I mean, maybe as nurses and doctors and things like that on the medical side, maybe on clerical work and things like that. But as far as being on the front lines, toting weapons, getting shot at, bombs and stuff like that, I'm sorry, but y'all ain't built for that.
I don't either. Like you,
Y'all
you,
ain't built
you,
for
you
it.
house life. You give life. God chose your body to house life for
Yeah.
9 months, and then for it to be birthed through you, and then you go take someone's child, regardless of the situation, the mental state of that. You
Yeah.
are you are having your monthly and still having to get up and go kill and fight for what first,
It's crazy.
right?
It's
So
absolutely crazy.
the tools of the trade. What are your tools? What's your trade? Are you a woman trying to live as a man? Whoa, man, right? Menstrual cycle, men. You hear the men in that, right? Menopause
Hey, yeah, remember all the women's problems start with men, right?
with men, right?
A
Does it?
gynecologist, guy, menstruation. You know what I'm saying?
Menopause.
Menopause. No, but
Mental. Look, y'all. Mental state.
hey, 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 who directed me? His
His
directed me.
his to me. So you guys, the tools of the trade. What's the trade?
I'm sorry.
What tools do you need? Right? And I'm gonna tell you guys, I have gotten to this soft place that there is nothing greater than being a woman and all that comes with that.
Yeah, you know what I see,
All that
man?
comes with that.
When a man I'll tell you this. Listen, and I've seen this in and I've told sisters that I know this, that I see, that have taken on this very masculine quality
Mm-hmm.
trying to compensate from them feeling abandoned, unprotected, unmaintained, and unprovided for.
Mm-hmm.
I see
By
this.
their father, by a man or their father.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Mostly times by the father, but in some situations from them having bad experiences with men or
With the
something like
man.
that. But I see that they take on these masculine qualities, um, and it's very, 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 very unattractive to men in general. It is like it's actually it's a repulsive thing, right?
Could you say that one more time? It's very say that please say that one more time for the ladies in the back.
It's very unattractive for women to host very masculine qualities.
Mm.
It is. I don't care what y'all say about the gender, and I feel this, and like, okay, feel how you feel, but I ain't gonna lie for you. There are certain things that women have that men don't. There's certain things that men have that women don't. I would like to see you tell me that the left glove is worth more than the right glove. It's not. But I tell you what, you can't put that left glove on that right hand, can you? Right? You try putting the left glove on the right hand, it won't fit. It doesn't mean that that glove is any less than this glove. If anything, it's more. Like I'll tell you, in my faith in Islam, in marriage in particular, a woman's rights in marriage as a wife are the husband's responsibilities, and the husband's rights are the wife's responsibilities. And so they protect each other in a certain way. But men, it says in the Quran, are the maintainers of women. And when a man has all the tools that he needs to be a man, and he exudes that, he shows that, it's going to do one of two things. It's going to create friction with the woman who has been raised without that, because she in many cases won't take it in kind. She won't
Mm-hmm.
think the intentions are right. Oh, you're trying to do something. You're waiting for an angle to take advantage.
Mm-hmm.
You're manipulating. You're not really this nice. You're not really holding the door for me. You're not really checking on me to make sure that I made it home. What's your ulterior motive, right? Or so there's that reaction. And there's also the reaction for the sisters that have a little bit more awareness, where they're surprised at how feminine they feel and become, and how soft that they become. Like I've seen two different reactions, right? So for example, even in my own situation with my wife, if my wife is going through something, like let's say she's just in an emotional state today, right? Women go through cycles. They go through cycles. I can literally look at the moon and tell you in what phase my wife is right now emotionally. If people know this, but a woman's cycles are correlated with the cycles of the moon. Okay, you guys are a part of this earth and creation, as far as in relation to the earth, the moon, the sun. We are products of that. So we move in very circadian rhythms, or we move in celestial rhythms, to where when the moon is, let's say, full, there are more women on their cycles, right? The moon, when the moon is full, there's more crime. Y'all know that? In cities around the world, when the moon is full, there's more crimes. The moon has a magnetic pull on the fluids, specifically your brain fluid, uh, in our bodies and in our brains, the same way that the moon pulls the waters on the earth that create the waves. There would be no waves on the earth, no tidal waves, no waves in the river, no waves in the and had it not been for the moon. That same magnetic pull is happening inside of our bodies and the bodies of our women. So you can tell the state of women in a particular time by the phases of the moon, right? There are signs in creation for us to see, for those who reflect and contemplate. So all that to say that when I know that my wife is in a certain state, I to have more patience, more mercy, more compassion, more empathy in certain situations, right? So that if she's upset about something, this is the moment when I'm calm. And as a man, if you're not able to see that your wife is in a state of alarm or distress, and you can't say something to calm her down, to me, you don't have the tools to be a husband, because I promise you, you're going to experience that as a man, right? And then, but what most men do is say, oh, women are illogical. It doesn't matter that she's not making any sense. And it's, if it may be illogical to us, it doesn't mean it's irrational to her. There is rationalization for what she's doing and why she's doing it. But you have to read a different language. And what we're doing is trying to read the same, because we don't go through phases as men. We're trying to read the same language, the man language, over a woman. And sometimes women are trying to read the woman language over a man. They're different things. They're complementary, not
Mm.
it's not uh, um, monolithic in any kind of way. We're complementary. The left glove doesn't fit on the right hand, right? And that's what we're
But
trying to do in
Brandon,
many
it'll
cases.
go on. It'll go on. It's and but y'all hear what he's saying. Brandon, you preaching this morning. I'm trying to hold it all together, but you're gonna turn this into a 2 hour show, but we're not. But like it'll go on. But how does it feel? Right?
Right.
Imagine your shoes, the left, right foot, right? And that's something like with the grandbabies. I've started to ask, well, they got it now. How does it feel? Which way, you got them on, but which way are they pointing? Are they going against you? So
Yeah.
I'm talking to them like so that they can see the big picture. So when they put their shoes on again, they won't just put it on and think, oh, I can go now. Oh, this doesn't feel right. Let me look. And sometimes Tupac can say, Grandma, it's not right. you know? So think about what he's saying. It'll go on, but it's not the right tool for it, right?
Right.
The
It won't
step
fit.
ladder versus the step ladder for a 10 feet building, right? Or the step
Mm-hmm.
ladder for a 10-foot ceiling does not work to change the light. So it has to be the right tool. And God did not make a mistake in giving
Right.
women their tools and men their tools. He did
Right.
not make a mistake in that. Wonderfully, spiritually, powerfully made, just the way he wanted us to be, right? With all the tools that we needed to be that.
Mm. I want to make.
Period.
I want
Can
to
I
make
say
this.
one more? Go
Yeah.
ahead,
Go ahead.
go ahead. And don't let me forget. I got
No,
mine written down because I was
you,
writing while
you
you were talking.
you sure you don't want to go ahead? I just wanted to make that point about the men and the women. I wanted to finish that one point.
You go because I got mine
Okay.
written down. Okay.
Okay. So as a man, um, when your wife, your woman is in a heightened state of emotion, we as men, being the maintainers of women, we have the Quran says that we're the maintainers. We have a level of authority given to us for to provide for our wife, right? A level of authority, meaning, for example, if we're walking down the street in at nighttime, and let's say uh, she wants to go this way, and it's a dark alley down there, and I say no, we're not going that way. We're going this way. She doesn't have a choice in that. Why? Because if she goes down that dark alley, and I say we're not going, and she's attacked in any kind of way, who's there to protect her? I am. President of the United States. If Secret Service says, I'm sorry, sir, we cannot go that way, they are now
Mm,
telling the President of the United States what he
mm,
can and cannot do because of his protection and for the authority that they have been giving to do a job. It does not mean that they are superior.
Mhm. Good point, Brandon. Good point. Boy, you ought to be out in the car
But they
more. Good
but
point.
he's so silly. But they have a level of authority in function that is better for everyone. Because if the president goes, the Secret Service might not have a job. If they let that pass by them. Likewise, we ain't going down that dark alley because I said so. And that's the way it is. It's out of love. It's not because I'm trying to flex my masculinity and show you how powerful I am that you're gonna do what I say. That's why you have to have a compassionate masculinity, but masculinity all the same, where your yes means yes, and as the leader of your household, and your no means no, and that's it. And I don't care what the in-laws, my laws, they laws, God laws.
My mama. You don't care what I say either.
No, I mean, I
When
love
it comes
you.
to
I
that,
love
and
you.
I'm saying that in a great way. Like I'm saying that in a way of respect. And I was gonna even say when I was talking about the kids, and my mom and I were out yesterday, and we was talking about some things that we saw that we might like for Zolly. But this is how much I love and respect Brandon and Sella. If it's something, most times I always ask, "Hey, do y'all mind if we get this for them, or if I get this for them?" Because guess what? If they say, I don't want to just, and y'all might not agree with this, you grandmothers, but I don't feel like it's my decision on what they get. I ask Sella, what is it? What do they need? Now, if I'm out, if it's shoes and things like that, because I'll buy shoes for the next season. If they're on sale, I buy out of season, all that. Because I know what they're going to need shoes. But if it's a toy, I always can buy reading things and stuff like that, school things. But if it's something else, they'll be like, so I've Stella said, no, mama, they got too much of that right now. Let's hold off on this. And a lot of the grandparents, I would not have been this kind of grandparent had I not utilized the trade of the tools, right? I would not be this kind of grandmother. I would feel some kind of way if I got a call and asked, can I buy the grandbaby this? And I don't because I'm not that Tammy. And I see the big picture. I understand the tools of the trade. What are we trading here, right? We're trying to build strong, emotionally fit adults. So what do? We start now with the little ones, with them while they're little. We start building, right? So it's bigger. This tools of the trade, it might become my favorite one now because the tools of the trade, what are we trading? And what tools are you using to trade?
Oh,
And
can I say
where
something?
where
Mm.
where's the trade happening? Right? I thought about
Mm-hmm.
willpower, my little Will, y'all know Will. I'm gonna call him willpower. I remember one day he came to the house and some years ago, and he just was in a state of confusion as it came to women, these young girls. He was like, Auntie, I just don't understand. He's like, you buy he was so serious. He's like, you buy them roses, you try to be nice, and they be like, what's wrong with you? What have you done? He's like, they got daddy issues,
That's
Auntie.
what I was just saying. Remember, I was just saying
That's
like,
that's why I wrote it. I typed it while you were talking. I typed it in. He was like, Auntie, they got daddy issues. You don't know what to do. And some women are triggered by a man,
mm-hmm.
the pure essence of a man. KL put out, and KL, I don't know where that comment went, but I'm have to. I can't move it
I,
because I don't want to lose
while
my
you're looking
notes.
for that, abusive relationships, especially like fathers, when they see the father being abusive to the mother or being abusive to them, it produces a like a rejection of of male voices, of the male being the lead of a family, of like they're hypersensitive to anything that seems like the man is leading because they feel like he's leading us to a place of harm,
Controlling.
right?
Yeah.
So right, and so they a lot of times those women will be, it's interesting, very attracted to that type of man physically, all this other thing, but the man that they date will be very feminine, will be very
Mm,
soft, will be very this,
mm.
but they will never be satisfied. And they might have a Mr. Manly man on the side, but they cannot deal with the fact that he's a man. And it's very interesting because I keep seeing that. I keep seeing um and
Brandon, can I say
the
something real quick?
schism between those two. Yeah.
Most women, if y'all be hold that, most women, if y'all will be honest with yourself, you want a man to tell you, no, we're not going down there. No, we're not going to go down that alley. What's wrong with you? You want him to say, y'all want the man to stand up, right? Because when you get the one that doesn't, who's soft and like, okay, baby, okay, that doesn't work. Like Brandon said, you're going to have the side man while you playing with the side boy, right? Well, that's what you
And it
see
might
it.
not
I'm
even
not
be a
saying
man
he's a
that
boy.
you're right. And it might not even be like, it might not even be a sexual relationship. From
Mm-hmm.
what I've
It's a
seen,
mental,
it might not,
mental,
it's like, yeah, it's like,
yeah.
oh, that's my friend, or it could be a colleague at work, or it could be her boss at work. It could be anything like that, but there's someone that she's going
Mm-hmm.
to for
Mm-hmm.
this type of guidance, this
It's
protection,
manly
this type
guidance.
of stoicism,
Yeah.
right? The stoicism. I did. There's this last point I wanted to make about something earlier
Okay.
that I was saying, that when men, we have the tools to to quell the burning fires inside of women that might consume them, and women have the tools to quell the burning fires inside of men that might burn them. The same fire that keeps you warm burn you, and our fires are for each other. Our waters are for each other. So we have to stay in that balance. So like when a woman's out being emotional, the man cannot respond to her like another woman. Do you understand where I'm coming from? If the
Yes.
man
Yes.
addresses that situation,
The
let's say
same as a
hyper
woman
emotional,
would.
exactly. If he says, "Well, I just feel like," now he's making it about his feelings, right? In that moment, and in that moment, the man having the ability to compartmentalize. Men have the ability to compartmentalize things to a greater degree than women. That's why when men go to war, even though they're affected, they're not affected as much. Traumatic issues and things can happen to men in a certain degree, and we compartmentalize those in a different degree. We die earlier, by certain stresses and things like that. We have a lower life expectancy than women, but we have the ability to compartmentalize in many ways, and ways that are good and ways that are bad. And I mean, I can mention some ways that are bad. Men, for example, can uh, and many, and this is not the extreme, but men can have a relation with multiple women and not really be attached. But women, in many cases, have a difficulty when they have relations with a man. I mean, physical relations, that they are more likely to become more attached. This is a physical reality. This is a genetic reality. This is a And why is that? Because if a woman gets pregnant by, she's now in a compromised position. She can't protect herself with that belly, especially if you think anthropologically, let's say 100,000 years ago. Humans been around, what, 2-3 million years? It's a science, quote unquote. But imagine you're out there 100 years ago with a big belly. You think another man is going to protect you, and that's not his child in there, right? So there's a natural instinctual attachment that excuse me, that goes from from a male to a, excuse me, y'all, my phone fell over here, from a male to a female. And men are able to compartmentalize. So in that situation, it doesn't make anything right. It's just that we have the ability to compartmentalize. We have to use that for positivity, right? So when we're in a situation with our wife, and she's being, let's say, we might think illogical, we have to still say she's being rational about something. And so right now, I can compartmentalize how I feel, because if I make it about me right now, we're both going to just be exchanging. What are we trading? Emotional poison. So, but if I
Mm-hmm.
have the right tools, if I have the right tools as a man, I can say, you know what, baby, I understand that you're really frustrated right now. I understand, like, there's a lot going on and this is worrying you right now. How about this? Don't worry about it. I know you're worried about everything that you got to cook tonight. Don't worry about it tonight. You've been doing so much today. Don't even worry about it. I see that this is stressing you out. let's just get a pizza. Let's just get a pizza and we'll worry about that tomorrow. Right? There's those little things, or being like, you know what, baby, it's okay. I see that this is bothering you right now, and it's really not all that big of a deal. I'll tell you what, I'll take care of it. I think that men should take on the brunt of the burden as best as we can, because when women aren't able to handle those things, when they get to their end point, they're at a different point in their cycle to me, right? And so
Mhm.
the men have to maintain that when they are out of that space, right? To me. And
Mhm.
so if you can do that and you can quell those waters for a woman, she will be so loyal and dedicated to you because you have validated her and you were a man to her. You didn't love her like a woman. You didn't
A
love a woman like
man.
a, you loved her like a man, right?
A
And
man
sometimes
did.
that, and sometimes I've had situations where, my wife has been, going on about something. I say, hey, baby, that ain't the way to go. Let's that we're going down a rabbit hole that's not going to serve either of us. Let's just go take a walk really quick. Let's go to Shelby Farms and walk around the lake for a little bit, and let's revisit this conversation. You know, after a little bit of after we get out and get some fresh air. Little things like that. Because if I go back into her with the same energy that she came with, that's not going to give her security. She's expressing the fact that I'm insecure about this topic right now. There's something that is I have an issue with right now, and I don't know how to deal with it. Or I'm having all these different sentiments. But if you can say, baby, you know what? It's okay. Don't even worry about it. And literally, are you okay? It's okay. That's those are some of the two most powerful statements that I've learned as a man in dealing with the woman in my life. Is that, are you okay? And it's going to be okay. Right? I got this. If you can do that
Ooh.
as a man, if you can do that as a man, I promise you, when you need her, she's gonna be there. When you come home, your house is gonna be a place of peace because she knows that you care, right? So that's what I wanted to say, is that men, just try it. Just try to hold your tongue one time, man. Just try to hold your tongue. My dad used to tell me, Brandon, Brandon, why you want to get the last word, Brandon? You know your mom's not gonna let you get the last word. You're gonna get in more trouble. And after a while, I used to think, no, I'm gonna get my point across. But after a while, I saw the wisdom, and just being like, all right, we'll get to it another time. You know what I mean? Because I can compartmentalize it. But if I tell my mom, or if I tell my wife, don't, no, that this is not important. No, it needs to be validated. What you're saying is important, and I feel you, and I understand where you're coming from, and I see that you're frustrated right now. So I tell you what, let's just do this. First off, are you okay? Are you available for us to go do this right now? Let's go do something fun. Let's go take a walk. Let's watch a movie real quick. Tell you, let's just pop some popcorn and table this for a moment, and then especially my wife being a contemplator, let you think about it a little bit, and then let's come back to it. You know what I mean? Because we're not gonna have any decision as of right now, because she's a contemplator. So let's take a step back. But as a man, I need to know her enough to be able to say that, and to not want to be, we want to be righteous, not self-righteous, right? Righteous, not self-righteous. And me saying, oh no, I want to win this argument. Oh no, I want to make sure that I prove my point, right? Men have this thing to where we really want to prove our point, right? Because it's logical. A plus B equals C, right? You can't expect somebody else to see when their emotions might be clouding their judgment. Henceforth, that's why, in my opinion, in war, you don't want a woman in the state to where her like, say she's going through a cycle. That means her hormones are going up and down. You don't want her making decisions based on where this team of fighters is gonna go. Right? During that state, she should be resting, and
Yeah.
men should provide that space to rest. I have so much more that I can say on
Me
this.
too. Yeah, we'll just have, the tools of the trade need to be a talking about relationships episode one day.
Yeah,
Because
I
there's
agree.
so much more. I mean, I've been typing while Brandon's been talking, but I want to make 2 points. maybe 2 points, and we'll get off of here. We got to get out. I got to get out of here myself. We talked about the shoe, the left shoe, right shoe, putting it on, putting the left shoe on the right foot. About, it'll fit, but how does it feel, right?
Mm-hmm,
Are
mm-hmm.
you able to walk the same? So imagine when you're dealing with people, especially your spouse or significant other, and the people that you're dating, because in the fact that Lil Will said, Auntie, I just don't know what's wrong. I bought roses, and she thinks I did something or gonna do something, or I'm guilty about something. We have to think about if they've been wearing, right, the right glove on the left hand, they become accustomed to that. It is what they are used to. And now here you come. You take the left glove off the right hand, or the right glove off the left hand, and you put it in its right position. And then you put the one that fits the left glove on the left hand. That one's going to feel off for a while. Why? Because they've gotten used to it being wrong.
And they
And
contorted
it's
their thought process
thought
to
process
fit
to
that,
that.
right?
And so for you to show up in your manhood state, when all the men in their perception, all the men in their lives have been the wrong glove for them, right? But if you love the woman, some, because I was going back to what KL said. Let me put it back out here. um Here we go. Brandon, read that for me.
My ex-wife got mad at me when we were first married because I paid her car note. I should have known then. Oh
And
man.
that's a whole lot. That's a whole lot. That's a whole lot.
Because look at it,
But
it's like I don't need you. There's this defensive, as if like I don't need. It's like yes you do.
why?
It's
Because they've never had anybody that they needed. And now here you coming with the right glove, putting it on the right hand, taking the wrong one off and reposition it. But see, it's not the repositioning of the things, it's the repositioning of the mind
mm-hmm,
that you have to be in tuned in and to have the patience enough if she's the one. Now, if you decide she's not the one,
right.
that's not the trade of the tool, right? That's not the tools of the trade. You in the
Mm-hmm,
wrong trade. You're looking for a piano. You're at an auction you're looking for a piano, but you're auctioning where they're auctioning cars.
right, right.
Doesn't fit, right? So I just wanted to say, keep in mind the tools of the trade. What what are the tools you need for the trade that you're interested in, right? Are
And
y'all
find the.
trading love and understanding? Right. And
Mm-hmm,
what does that look like? And Brandon, you said something about, if you just said to the woman when she's going through something, baby, I see you're frustrated. Let's just get some pizza tonight. Let's just chill. Y'all, it will be in most cases as if you have ran out of gas, pulled up and got some gasoline, and the car goes again, right? That little second, those few words that a man might say to a woman will give her more power. You'd feel like she didn't slept a whole night, because all of a sudden what she probably will say, no, baby, I got it. Let me just go ahead and cook dinner.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's because all she needs is for you to know that you see her, that you have the right tools for this trade that you guys are doing. And it is a trade at the end of the day if
Mom,
you just
this
want to.
that's a real example. This happened to me. This actually happened last night.
Oh, he got
I
excited.
No, for real. I just happened to me last night. So my wife has been out with her mother. They've been doing stuff in the garden. She done made stuff for the kids. They had went out to eat to Green Bamboo where you and Grandma came by to see. And then so later on that night, I trained yesterday and all that and sparred. And so I was the only one. And they had even brought me some food, but I'm very hungry after training. So like I ate the food after they got back from Green Bamboo where they brought me some. But later on that night, everybody else was still pretty full. Whereas I was getting hungry and I didn't even say anything. But my wife knew, and she said, baby, are you hungry? Right? And I knew right then. She didn't have to say anything. She said, baby, are you hungry? And I knew she was fumbling around in the kitchen before that. And I said, yeah, but I'm okay. You know? She was like, no, because I went grocery shopping and I got this food in here and I can cook you something. I can cook these steaks or I can cook this or whatever. And I could see that she was tired. And I said, baby, if you You know what I do every Saturday. If you had to ask me if I'm hungry, you know I am. If you had to ask me, then I know you're looking for an opportunity to rest. I know that you're tired just from her asking, "Are you hungry?" Because if not, she would have already just started
Did it. Right.
doing it, right? So the fact that she had to ask told me that she's running lower on fuel, on that gas. So you know what I said? I said, "Baby, don't you even worry about it. I got me tonight. You took care of the kids. You took care of yourself. My house is clean. Everybody's good. You got an incense burning. My house is a place of peace right now. If I'm upset, I'm upset. If she upset, the house upset, the
Children.
roof, the children upset. I'm talking about just the house, the roof upset, the garden upset, the chickens upset, my kids upset, the cats upset. Everything is out of order when she's upset. When I'm upset, I'm cool. They don't care. Oh, daddy mad? Whatever. But mommy mad, the food tastes different. The water don't pour the same. I'm like, dang, why the toilet messing up? Because you mad. Like, it's like everything just catches the spirit. And a woman is the maintainer of culture. She's the maintainer of of the thing. She's the first teacher to the children. So protect her heart, man, at all costs if you can. Throughout the days, make sure that she's okay and your kids gonna be okay. They're gonna be okay. If I get mad at my kids, daddy's mad. They'll be happy with me in another 30 minutes, right? But if my wife gets upset with them, they take it really to heart. Like, oh my goodness, my mama's mad at me. My mama's upset with me. So my job is to maintain her. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I
Yeah.
don't want to get too long with it. We've been an hour
Yeah,
and
well,
30 minutes.
yeah,
I want to wrap
hour and
it
a
up.
half. Yeah, so let's
Yep.
get off of here,
Let's
you
get out
guys.
of here, y'all.
I hope we took that to a different. We took it differently, but it's still the same. The
It
tools of the
is.
trade.
The tools of the
Help
trade. Climb
somebody
the
get the
ladder of
right tools.
success.
Right, help somebody
Right.
get the right tools for their life, for their true goals, their life. Remember that, right? So maybe Brandon, one day in the future, we'll come back and do tools of the trade just about relationships, way
Okay.
in the
Yeah.
future. All
Yeah.
right.
Sounds
So
good.
let's wrap it up.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna spit this out real quick, so y'all just work me a little bit. I know a lot of people got to go. Oh no, it's Sunday. Y'all ain't got to go nowhere. Y'all ain't got to go to work. Somebody do, but
Yeah.
most people don't. On this May 12th, the title was "Tools of the Trade," and the quote from Booker T. Washington today says, start where you are with what you have, knowing that what you have is plenty enough." And after a brief passage about climbing the ladder of success and having the tools for success, we came to the affirmation at the bottom that we read 3 times, one time for me, one time for you, and one time for the person that you're going to send this to. And the affirmation is: dreams are the tools of the successful. I will dream big dreams. Again, dreams are the tools of the successful. I will dream big dreams. And now, this last time, either say it out loud or say it with your internal voice. Dreams are the tools of the successful. So I will dream big dreams. All right? Dream big dreams, inspire somebody, motivate somebody to dream big as well, and invite someone to tomorrow's show of In This Season podcast at 7 a.m. Central. We hope to see y'all there. Sorry for keeping you so long, but I hope you got something from it, because I know I did. Thank y'all so much. Y'all have a good one.
Yeah, thank y'all for rocking with us. We be back tomorrow, same time, same place. You guys be great, and for the mothers, enjoy your Mother's Day. All
All
right.
right, y'all. Take care.